Sorry?
It is used for metal objects, right?
This is not metal. This is wood.
That's why I'm telling you.
हाँ मतलब क्या पूछ रहे हो? Hello?
Like, is drilling used for wood also?
Yeah, drilling is wood for wood also. Drilling is used for wood also, and even for metal also it can be used. But if you look at this, see, first thing is differentiating the processes by the material which gets involved. So that sets aside certain options. Say for example, drilling hai, chiseling hai, cutting hai, finishing hai, sanding is also there. These are the kind of processes where wood is involved. Now, if I look at this object, इसमें sanding नहीं हुआ है. So इसमें it is all chiseled because I can see those scratches. If wood is sanded, it has a very smooth finish. Here I can see some scratches. If you look at the face of that elephant, like, or part, these are not finished edges. These are all scratched wala edges. So that's where I will say no, sanding is not involved. Then drilling, I can see these kind of details which are happening. इसके अंदर भी I can see some kind of form happening. तो उसके लिए drilling किया ही होगा. Chiseling is done to give a larger form. So we chisel an object to give a larger form that you can see. So I will say yes, by default, chiseling is a part of this process. Cutting naturally is involved in this kind of artifact, saying okay, there might be a block of wood which would from where the carving or the chiseling process would have started. या फिर वो block of wood को first you cut into a form which is similar looking, say maybe an ovaloid or say maybe a chamfered edge cuboid. So I might cut the larger block into that form, and then from that I start chiseling, and then I simultaneously start drilling these kind of holes, and that's where I get this form. And then the last part is finishing, where you do the minor details like these, or even these eyebrows that you are seeing here, or even these lines that you are seeing, or even these nails that one sees. These are finer details which are a part of finishing process. So that's why I said, okay, no, sanding is there, but it's not involved in this process. Chiseling and drilling, I will say yes, by default they are involved. Cutting, naturally it will start from a block of wood, and that's where cutting will also be a part. And then by default finishing, because I can see all those scratches, not scratches, but because I can see all those details of the ears that I can see here. So finishing, the object is finished well. And yes, so finishing is also a part of it. And that's where I will arrive at option C and not option D. Punching is not a part of this process here. So first two, A or B gets negated because casting is not involved here, and milling, punching and forming, they are a part of metal. So I would say I'm not going for that at all, because they are not a part of wood as process. The third option, which is C, says drilling, chiseling, cutting and finishing, is something which I will say yes, I can see those implications here, and that's why I said you look at these processes. So I mean, I have seen these processes, and that's why I can say that all these four are involved in this. So please have a look at it. What is drilling, what is chiseling, what is cutting, and what is finishing? Finishing is basically drawing up or carving all these finer details that you are able to see here, these kind of details. The last one, sanding, I would say it's not involved because of the fact that one can see the scratches that the way the chiseling would have happened. जैसे ये chisel का mark है, if you can see here, I'm just removing this, but this is a chisel mark. This U that you are seeing, that's a chisel mark. So
and
because
in the last option, forming and punching are metal processes.
they are metal,
so you cannot
so naturally, yeah, you can naturally negate that also, but many a times people do forget it. So वो sanding दिखा है ना, इसलिए people can go directly there. Okay, it's involves sanding and it's wood, so naturally it will be the answer. But sanding is not involved in making this kind of artifact specifically. And if you want to understand why sanding is not involved, you have to look for these kind of clues of dry or rough edges and this kind of chisel marks, if you see. So not for this particular answer, but for any answer. If you want to negate this process, then you have to look for these clues of roughness and the chisel marks or drilling marks. That's where one can say, okay, no, sanding is not involved. Okay. Or even marks like this. So what I was trying to tell was, please start looking at these kind of artifacts or any other artifacts very closely to also start extracting what kind of processes go in making of these artifacts. That's what I was trying to arrive at. So here you're given four different types of chairs, and there are 4 different statements below with reference to the PQRS, 4 different types of chairs. You have to say which statement is true. Which of the following statement is true? So observe carefully the first P chair, the Q chair, R chair, and the S chair. And we'll go, don't observe don't directly jump onto the details of all the 4 chairs, to go option by option in this kind of cases. So the first option says R has deer elements, Q has bird elements, and only P has human elements. This is correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Incorrect because of this condition. This one. Because of the last condition, only P has human elements, I would say it's incorrect. The next one, B, only Q has bird element, R has deer elements, and only S and P has human elements. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
That's correct. P and S have human elements, and they are the only ones which have human elements. R has deer elements, which you can see from the legs of that chair. And bird element is clear for Q. So I would say yes, that's correct. Next one. Q and S have curved elements, have curved surfaces. Q and S have curved surfaces, which I can see. Q has bird elements, which is also true. And only S has human elements. True or false?
False.
Last condition is wrong. The D1, R and S have animal and R and S have animal elements. R and S. Q has bird element, which is here, and P has human element. Only P has human element. True or false?
False.
False.
False because of the last condition. You have to understand, if the last condition wasn't there, this would have been true. Why am I saying in the option
Why
B?
does S have animal element?
Humans are animals, by the way. They are social animals.
Yes.
We do read that, right? Humans are also part of the animal family. It's just a different typology. Just remember that. So if this condition wasn't there, I would say, oh, this can be true. Okay, but yeah, this condition is there, and that's why I will say only option B is correct here. Okay, clear?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay. These are palanquin, palki. We also know that. There are different palkis that are given. There are different palki designs which are given, A, B, C, D. Which is the best palki that works for a traveler as well as the laborers who are going to carry the traveler. And it's one answer, huh? It's not two answers. It's only one answer is correct here. Yes, Anya, your answer is correct. Madhav, your answer is correct. Nishka, Parth, and Ananya. Please check your answer. So guys, there are two people, Anya and Ananya and Ananya. Okay. You are you both? So one is Ananya with double A and one is Ananya Patel. So are you both the same person or they're different people? Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, Ananya Patel, check your answer. It's incorrect. Pant, Tanisha, your answer is incorrect. Ria, your answer is correct. Jay, Pal, your answer is incorrect. Shaivi, Shreya, your answer is correct. See, I'll just go to the explanation why the option C is correct here. The option C is the correct answer and why it is correct. So in a palki, if the seat is raised and it's laid on the bar, there is some instability. Like one can see in option A, specifically in option B and in option D. There's some kind of instability that the person who sits in the palki experiences, because of course there is no hand rest. There is no kind of hand protection or hand support or hand rest which is given here, which one can see in option C. So, you know, when there is something to hold on to, you feel more safe, you feel more comfortable sitting on it. The next part is when this palki option A and option B is carried up, it is raised from the ground. It is raised much higher from the ground compared to option C and option D. Why? Because of these stands which are given here. Yes, it makes easier for the person who is sitting on it to, you know, step on and then sit here, but it makes the laborer, it makes it difficult for him, because the more the raised part, the more the raised the palki, the higher the burden the laborer feels on his shoulders. That's where option C and option D works better. But in option D, there is a big issue that the handles that you are seeing here, which the laborers carry, they will be placed directly on the ground. So when you're lifting, it becomes very difficult to, you know, lift them, because your hands, they get dirty very easily. And also because of that butterfly shape. So option D, if you see, it has like this butterfly shape, like this. Sorry. So it has this butterfly shape. So when this happens, yes, of course, the laborers are farther away, but then your center part, the middle part, becomes extremely unstable in option D. The option C is the most stable one of all these three, because of course I can get some kind of support to hold on to. The seat is raised from the ground, so, you know, the person who is carrying doesn't have to bend much. That person doesn't have to bend much because the ground comes here. In this case, the ground comes here. So this is much more raised from the ground, so the laborer doesn't have to bend much when he's carrying. It's become easier. And because the seat is a little bit lower down, the traveler who is sitting on that seat doesn't feel that he's too much raised, and it doesn't feel that instability. So that's where also option C works the best for both the traveler as well as the laborer. Option A, B, and C, sorry, A, B, and D, because they are raised on that stand which is there for D, the height of the traveler who is sitting will be too much. And that's where he might feel uneasy, might feel unstable. And of course, with that hand rest or hand support to missing, it is slightly uncomfortable or unstable that way. So option C works the best of all these 4 designs. Any doubt? Questions? Okay. The next part. So what is given is, this is the final image of when this kind of graphic, of how this kind of graphic appears to somebody who is standing on the road. The person would perceive the graphic like this, as you're seeing in this 3D illusion art which is printed on that road. So if a drawing is made of how this will appear when you're looking from top of the road rather than in perspective, which of the following options, A, B, C, D, will be true? Yeah, this is for this question or the previous one? I don't
Yes,
know. This one, it's wrong. Then. Shaivi, your answer is wrong. I'll just draw an image and then we'll get some more clear picture. Okay, all your answers are wrong so far. Okay, so far Tanisha, Riya, Kritika, Nishka, Shaivi, all your answers are wrong, huh? Yeah, Madhav, your answer is wrong. You're close, but your answer is wrong. Are you able to see what I'm drawing? Are you
yes,
all able to see what you're drawing? What am I drawing? So the yellow line, if you can see, is the one which will be drawn on the paper. And the blue line that you're seeing is how this thing will be perceived as it is drawn here. So ye wala jo hai, this is, sorry. Yeah. So this image that you are seeing is what the blue line will look like. So if somebody who is the green line, if he's looking at this object, he will be looking at it based on what he sees here. So this yellow line becomes like this, which is where the object looks like. But in that case, when the same image is stretched on the ground, it actually becomes distorted image. This thing, it appears like this because I'm looking at this through this blue frame. But when I look at it from top like this, in that case, it becomes like a distorted image. So that's where I will say, okay, it can be option B, it can be option D also. So I will say, okay, but which one is it? So that's where this tail part that you're seeing here, comes to my rescue. If you look at the tail of option D, it's longer. The tail of option B is smaller. When something is closer to you, it appears you have to stretch it less versus the part which is on top will be stretched more. In 3D art, the part which is on top, which is this much, will be stretched more compared to the part which will be at the bottom. तो ही आपको वो perspective में ऐसा दिखेगा. In which case I will say, okay, in option D, clearly this is more, in option B it's less, and that's why I will say option B is the correct one. समझ आया?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
clear or not clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now this one. Here, this is some weird form. And this weird form gets rotated along this axis of rotation, which you are seeing in dotted. When this object, when it is rotated along this axis, you'll get some surface, some object which looks like this on the when you look at it from the top. So I have to look at this object from the top, and when I rotate this along on 360 degree along this axis, I will get either of this kind of form when I look at it from the top. So which of this is the correct top view of the solid? You don't have to draw the solid, but you have to just find the top view of it. What will I do is, I'll first make the axis of the top view. Then I'll start drawing the lines, which will be my curve marks, which will be a part of my curve marks. So I can see this very clearly is a part of my curve mark. This won't be a part of the curve mark because it's a smooth curve. There is no edge seen here. Here I can see a clear line, which will be very much visible. There is a point here, which I can see. So I'll say yes. There is another surface difference, which is happening here. So I will say yes, that will be also part of it. And then this is a different surface. And then this is a different surface. So when I look at the object from top, from the center, and this is the central axis, of course, I'm just drawing it till that much. Because there is no edge here, yahan ka, the other ones on this side will have, the other line is if I do a mirror comes here, which is this length will be equal to what is this length. So this looks like a complete circle. So, this looks like a complete circle here, like this. So after drawing this, can anybody suggest what would be the correct one? A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many lines, how many rings are there? You can see 5 rings happening. Can I say there'll be 5 rings or not? This is 1 ring.
5.
5 rings, right? So इसमें 5 rings किसमें है?
C.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B में कितने हैं? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A में कितना है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. D में कितना रिंग है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 रिंग. So I will say B या C, दोनों में से एक possible है. So out of the B and C, which one will I eliminate? Can anybody tell me which one will I eliminate from B and C? If I ask you to look at the proportions, can you get something from that? So, if I ask you, okay, one is a smaller circle, which we see here. One is this length, one is this length. And then there's a slightly shorter length here. And then there is an even shorter length here. So, kaun sa aayega? So, if I see it like this. So I have 2 equal length, almost equal length. One is slightly shorter length and one is an even shorter length at the end. B or C?
B.
I will say option B. Why? Because of the simple reason of the way this is proportion to this length is proportion. Here, this center length and this length is almost equal. Like this is slightly larger, but these two are almost equal. So I will say that's not possible because this is a much shorter length, this is bigger length, this is bigger length, and this is slightly smaller. So I will say option C is wrong that way. So option B is the correct one. That's where. Clear? So what I did was I looked at this red dimension versus this blue length which you are seeing here. This in CMAID, this red dimension versus the blue length which you are seeing here. I just compared these two things and I said, can the option be correct? Because this length is much shorter compared to this length which you're seeing here. Just for that simple reason, which is of course almost equivalent to what you're seeing this one. So yeah. Clear? Doubt? Confusion हो रहा है?
Ma'am, can you explain it again?
Okay. Yeah. So from here, if I look at the top plane, I will first start drawing the lines which are coming. So what will be the lines which will be a part of the ring which will be seen? So one is this line, one is this line, one is this edge which is getting defined here, one is this edge which is getting defined here, and then one is this edge which is defined here. Do you see any other edges getting formed, or this is it? यहाँ पे one might say कि यहाँ पे आएगा, but then if you look at it, it's a smooth curve. So there is no edge getting formed, but it's just a form. Form में ही there is a smooth curve coming about. So this in between part, I will say कि नहीं possible. The next thing which I start is counting कि कितने rings हो रहे हैं. So 1 ring, 2 ring, 3 ring, 4 ring, and the 5th ring. So out of the options which are given here, only B and C have 5 rings. So A or D, that's where it gets eliminated. I'm going by elimination here as a method. The next thing which I do is I start looking at the proportions of the widths that are getting formed. So I start looking at this proportion versus this proportion versus this proportion versus this proportion and versus this proportion. So if I just number it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the last one is 5. 1 is the shortest, and 5 is also somewhat shorter than 1. 2 and 3 almost look almost similar, और option और जो fourth वाला जो है size is slightly shorter than 2 and 3. So what I will then do is, in this thing, I will start comparing the proportion in B and C. So I will say from the center, this proportion, this line proportion versus this blue line proportion. So C may, if you look, the dimension of length, I mean the length of red line and blue line is same. You agree? Or B may, the red line is very short, it's almost half, and the blue line is longer. ये correct है? ऐसा हो रहा है, right?
Yes.
When after making this observation, I will go back to the figure, this figure. And then I will say, okay, 1 is shorter and 2 is much longer. So 1 is almost 2. So that's why I will say option C galat hai. And then I will say, okay, option B is only the correct one. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 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 What is happening in the chat? I haven't seen. Yeah. Can we do this last one? Very simple, eh? It's very simple. But can we do this last one? Please remember, I mean, there's some mistake here, but meaningful ke baad, this is the first, I mean, this is, there has to be a full stop here. Meaningful ke baad ek full stop aana chahiye. And then, excuse me, this is the statement. After meaningful, there has to be a full stop, which is not seen here. I just draw that. So there's a full stop here. The line is getting cut from here itself. So can you fill in the blank now? Dash the facts she processed, sorry, dash the facts she proceeded with her decision, finally ending up with a dash situation. Nevertheless happy, apparently initially, however noteworthy and notwithstanding and sad. Which one will it be? Nishka, Riya, your answer is correct. Madhav, your answer is wrong. Tanisha, your answer is wrong. Pant, your answer is wrong. Shreya, your answer is wrong. And Anya with double A, your answer is correct. Shaivi, your answer is correct. Jay, your answer is correct. All right. Okay, there are two more people. Parth, your answer is wrong. Kritika and Pant, your answer is correct. In this case, the correct answer is the option D. So the statement should be read, and it's more meaningful that way, grammatically, of course, correct. Notwithstanding the facts, notwithstanding the facts, she proceeded with her decision, finally ending up with a sad situation. So people had said B also. So apparently the facts is somewhere which I feel grammatically it's not fitting in well. Nevertheless, the facts is also not fitting it. However, comma, however the facts, however ke baad comma aana chahiye. However, the facts is somewhere where it's not fitting in appropriately. It's not meaningful that way. So notwithstanding is somewhere which fits in best here. Notwithstanding the fact, which is not standing with the fact, basically, that's what it's saying. Somebody proceeded with the decision and finally ended up with a sad situation. So sad can be, sad is something which can happen. It can be happy also. So sad and happy from the options, if I just go by that, sad and happy or even noteworthy, they are the ones which can happen, which can be placed anywhere. But the deciding factors come in the first word itself. The first word is the deciding factor of which is the correct option. In this case, not the second part. The second part, which can be sad or happy, initially is wrong. Initially can also fit in provided the first part of the statement was framed correctly. But the second word that you're seeing in all the options is something that can change, and it's not a deciding factor as to which is the correct answer. You have to find as to which from the option given which is the deciding factor for the correct answer. It is actually the first word which is the deciding factor for which will be the correct answer. Whether you use nevertheless, whether you use apparently, whether you use however, or whether you use notwithstanding. So use the first word, and then the second word which follows fits in appropriately. I would put it that way, and hence I chose option B. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Should we take this last one or you want to leave? Very simple, actually. You want to take this one or should I take it the next time? Hello? चलेगा ये एक कर देते हैं. Imagine a possibility of emergency evacuation scenario in a domestic household in India. The height at which the inside latch of an exit door should be installed is to be finalized. It is required to disallow opening of the door accidentally by children. The first condition is the height. Of course, what you have to find out is the height of the inside latch of an emergency door, emergency exit door, I am assuming, or an exit door. The condition for that is children should not accidentally open it. Which option is which option will determine the height of at which the latch should be fixed? One has to assume that the height of the tallest child in the family is lower than the shortest adult in the family. The height of the tallest child is lower than the shortest adult. So while considering the height, the fixing height of the latch, which one should I consider? The height of the tallest adult, height of the shortest adult, the average height of the child, or average height of the tallest adult male and the tallest adult female? Kia, Anya, with double A, Kritika, and Diya, your answers are correct. Madhav, Kavya, your answer is incorrect. Pant, your answer is incorrect. Shaivi, your answer is correct. Okay. In this case, the correct answer is the option B. One has to consider that of the shortest adult because the door cannot be opened even accidentally by children, but it has to be opened by the adults for sure. So while am I fixing the latch of the adult, I cannot consider the tallest adult because the shortest adult won't be able to open that door in case of an emergency. I cannot take the average height of the adult male or the adult female because I haven't been given any condition in the question as to what is the height difference between the tallest adult male or female, or what is the height difference between a male or a female in the house, as a matter of fact. So the option D says कि नहीं possible है. I cannot consider the average height of the child because the child is somebody who is not going to open it, and henceforth I'm left with the last one, that the shortest adult should be able to open it, and which is also logical that irrespective of any situation or any scenario, in case of an emergency evacuation, all adults irrespective of their height should be able to open the exit door. Now the next condition will I follow is the next question that follows is the height of the tallest child less than or more than the shortest adult? For that, I have been given the last condition. Assume the height of the tallest child to be lower than the shortest adult. Now, with that assumption, I can surely take the option B to be correct. Doubt? Clear? समझ आया? नहीं समझ आया?
Understood, ma'am.
Okay. All right. ठीक है. We are done here. And yeah, I'll see you all the next time.